Hi everyone, today I wanted to show you how to go about planting a bare root peony that you get from the store in either a bag or a box. I have specifically an Ito type peony, which is a cross between herbaceous peonies and a tree peony, but the principles that we'll be going over today will work just fine for your regular garden peonies that you see everywhere. When you're buying a bare root peony, it's going to be basically a hunk of a rootstock that has been taken from a much larger mature plant. The pros and cons of having a bare root peony that you're planting is it's a heck of a lot cheaper than buying them in the store as a mature plant. An Ito peony specifically, I think like 150 bucks at my local nursery. I don't know, I've never seen them at more big box stores, but either way, I've always enjoyed looking at them, but man, I'm not gonna spend 150 bucks. This was 20 bucks, and I'm actually pretty impressed with how big this is. And it already has some eyes that are coming up. So let's go ahead and open the container so we can see what we're looking at. So as you can see, this is a pretty chunky hunk of root right here, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 eyes, which is really good. Usually, you know, you might have more 2 or 3. But yeah, so before we kind of dive into actually putting it into the hole, some things to keep in mind. Unlike some other type of bare roots that you might be used to planting, peonies should not be dug down very far. In fact, max, you want to have these covered up with a maximum of 2 inches of soil. So really do not plant them deep, or else you will suffer the consequences of not having nearly as many blooms or no blooms at all. So we don't want that to happen. The downside of having a bare root peony as opposed to buying that $150 plant from the nursery is that it's going to take probably a couple years before you get a substantial amount of blooms from your peony plant. I am trying to be a little bit better about being more patient and long-sighted with my gardening, not just needing instant gratification. So I think this is a good compromise. I found a good large size bare root, so hopefully next year at least I will end up with a good amount of blooms. I'm gonna actually soak this for an hour or so, and once that's done we will get to planting it in the ground. So you can see we dug out our hole here, and it's certainly not going to need to be this deep, but I went ahead and dug about I don't know, 6 inches down, just to kind of loosen up the soil around where the roots are going to go. So let's put some of the soil back into the hole. You want to make sure that you are planting your peony in a well-draining area. You don't want it to be waterlogged because the roots might rot. So here is our pre-soaked, I just soaked it in a bowl of water, peony root, and the eyes that are present, they're going to be pink. They might not be this bright of pink if they're just starting out, but the main important thing is that you want these to be facing up. You don't want to face them down, face them up. So let's go ahead and put them in our hole. That actually looks pretty good. So we don't want the eyes to have any more than 2 inches of soil on top of them, like I mentioned before. I have seen in maybe colder climates you can get away with maybe a little bit more than that, but here in zone 7 I do not need to smother them with a large amount of soil. So just 1 to 2 inches basically. So we're going to go ahead and fill our hole back in. And these eyes are so long that they actually may end up kind of poking just through this top of the soil. So there you have it. Our hole is all filled in. I'm gonna go ahead and water with the water that I was using to pre-soak it, just since I have it on hand. Once established, peonies really don't need a ton of water. They're pretty self-sufficient. And what's really awesome is that they can live for a really long time without too much fuss. Wishes on your planting of bare root peonies. Let me know in the comments what varieties you're planting this year. Thanks for watching and happy gardening.